Coaching moves. Mario Cristobal going to Oregon, Dan Lanning from Georgia going from Oregon to Miami, Dan Lanning going from Georgia, DC up to Oregon. Looks like everything is in place in college football, especially at some of these blue blood programs. However, I guess there's been reports now, there's been talks, potential overtures of the Chicago Bears being potentially interested in Ryan Day, Ohio State's head coach. Why would they be interested in him? Well, you look at what he's done in his 3 years at Ohio State. He's lost 4 games, 2 college football playoff appearances, a national championship appearance. Coach Justin Fields the first round. Helped develop Dwayne Haskins in his 1 year under Ryan at Ohio State. Probably would have been served better to have a second season as well, but it is what it is at that point with him. But he's done a great job. He's a young, dynamic coach. He had previous stops in the NFL. He has NFL ties. And so there's this natural thought that go to Chicago, and you know what we'll do? We'll pair you up with our young quarterback that we drafted, who has looked, of all the quarterbacks outside of Mac Jones, that Justin Fields has been the most productive quarterback this year of all of the rookies. Trey Lance has been on the shelf. He's been in and out. Zach Wilson on the shelf hasn't looked great, here and there. Mac Jones has looked really good. And so you can't sit there and besmirch him. But Trevor Lawrence down in Jacksonville, one of the reasons that, there's a little bit of hot seat on Urban Meyer, he really hasn't looked as good. But Justin Fields, to Aaron Rodgers' admission, has some of those star qualities. He can escape the pocket. He's got the big arm. He hasn't made every play, but his line isn't good. He needs some help, but they're struggling in Chicago right now. And so there's this natural thought process that, should the Bears choose to move on from Matt Nagy and possibly GM Ryan Pace, will they go after Ohio State head coach Ryan Day? Now, that scares a lot of Buckeye fans. Frankly, it should, because as we've seen before, in this year, it used to be coaches didn't leave elite college jobs for other elite college jobs. Well, Lincoln Riley to USC, could say Oregon, Mario Cristobal to Miami possibly, and then Brian Kelly to LSU. So that has happened. There really isn't like a home base elite college job for Ryan Day. He's from New Hampshire. He played there. Like that's not a destination job for a head coach of his caliber at this point. And so you'd have to think in college, he's here. He got handed a great job. Jim Harbaugh said he was bored on third base, thinks he hit a triple. I know Ryan Day is very upset about that. And we'll get into part of those comments as well, because he's done a terrific job, but he inherited a program with great recruits, a big time name. And then obviously Urban did a great job of setting up the bones, the structure, the player development directors, the strength coach, the training staff, all of those things that are really difficult for a first-time head coach. They were here for Ryan Day to be able to absorb. And I think that honestly helped him. I'm not going to hold it against him because he's done a fantastic job. He's recruited at a high level. He's coached at a high level, and, he holds his coaches accountable. And I think frankly, I think Ryan is one of the young stars in the game. And I say young just because he's closer to my age than his players. However, with his NFL ties, is this something that he may want to get back into? And it all comes down to this. And this is the thing for a lot of coaches. It's a thing for a lot of people in life. What's your why? Why do you do what you do? Is it the monetary gain? Is it the power? Is it the prestige? Is it simply just to be able to provide for your family? Are you getting to do what you love? Do you want stability? The thing with Ryan, and I've joked with him about this in the past, the NFL, I mean, you're 3-4 years, you're getting churned and burned, you're getting fired. I mean, we look at Pete Carroll, you look at the Bill Belichick's. I mean, some of these coaches that are anomalies that don't exist, aberrations that don't exist anywhere else, where they've been at their place for a long time and they're not subjected to that consistent turnover. Heck, Mike McCarthy was just fired recently in Green Bay. Now he's at Dallas. Like the NFL, the old adage, not for long, like you're moving around a lot. And you don't get fired in the NFL for wins and losses. You get fired for failing to meet expectations. We'll get into the Cleveland Browns later. But those are the reasons why. And so I think Ryan Day, and without speaking for him, I think he's happy at Ohio State. He's got 3 young kids. I think his wife enjoys it here. They're small town folks. Columbus has a lot of the amenities of a big city, but it's not New York. It's not Chicago. And so it has a little bit of that small town feel if you want it. But the fact before he got at Ohio State, he was moving all the time. So he comes in here, coordinator, becomes the head coach. Now he's got a little stability. And when your kids are young, you're winning and you're getting compensated a lot. And that's the thing. Ohio State has to step up to the plate and pay Ryan Day. He cannot be the fourth highest paid coach in the conference. Look at Mel Tucker getting his big money. James Franklin. Jim Harbaugh is going to get another big deal. Like, he cannot be below all those guys. He has achieved more than any of them in a very short time frame at the collegiate level. Now, Jim Harbaugh has obviously been to a Super Bowl. Ryan Day has not been a head NFL coach, but he's done so much in such a short time, and he needs to be compensated for it. But I can't sit here and tell you that if the Chicago Bears come knocking and offer, a 5-year deal for $10 million a year, that he would say no to that. It would probably depend a lot on who the GM is, how the control works, and everything. But Ohio State has the monetary capacity to step up and take care of this. Because I'm not inclined to think that Ryan is looking at the horizon for the next best job. I think he's happy where he is, and I think he likes where he is right now. And there may be a day where that doesn't exist for him anymore, and his why might change. But as of right now, he seems fairly content doing what he's doing and being compensated at a high rate for it. You make some changes on the staff. You already saw him bring in defensive coordinator Jim Knowles. There's going to be some things that happen and a little bit of movement, and he's not afraid to make those decisions as a young first-time head coach. And I give him a lot of credit for stepping up and seeing problems head on and taking them on. He comes off as a really nice guy. He's got the red cheeks and everything, but make no mistake about it. Ryan Day is an intense competitor and wants to make sure his school has the resources to be able to compete in this new NIL transfer portal world. He wants the staff to be compensated well, and he wants to be compensated well. And so those things need to happen. If that happens, Buckeye fans, after a loss to Michigan and Jim Harbaugh making those comments, I think he's competitive enough that he wants to finish the job and be able to make sure that he has the record against Michigan and Jim Harbaugh that he needs. College has changed a lot, and he understands that, but there is still some greatness to the power of the brands and some of these big games in college football. And I think that he is safe right now, but he needs to be taken care of. The athletic department at Ohio State needs to be able to do that. The boosters, the program, all of those things have got to step up to make sure. Because if not, the NFL is going to continue to come calling.